A question I often get asked is, who is the most powerful god? As you can imagine, this is a pretty tricky question to answer, mainly because there isn't one answer. It's a very subjective topic, and one that I'm sure will spark plenty of debate amongst you all. So instead, I wanted to do a video where I introduce you to what, in my opinion, are 5 of the most powerful gods. This is not a definitive list, of course, and isn't ranked in a particular order. Today's video will focus on just the male gods, and I will do a separate video for goddesses. Don't forget to leave a comment to let me know who I might have missed or who you think should have made the cut. But for now, let's dive in. Okay, so while some might argue he is not purely a god, Typhon was a mix of monster, giant, and god that wreaked havoc on the Greek world and definitely deserves a place in this list. This was one seriously scary dude. He was a giant so tall that it was said his head could touch the stars. Unimaginably monstrous, many variations exist to describe his form, with the most common features being legs that were coiled with vipers that would hiss and attack as he moved, and 100 snake heads that sat upon his shoulders and shot fire from their eyes. A huge pair of wings dominated many more pairs of smaller wings that were littered across his back, and his breath was a devastating burst of fire. Truly a terrifying sight. Perhaps unsurprisingly, this monstrous god also had a personality to match his physical form. For Typhon, destruction was a game and deformity was beautiful. He reduced villages to rubble and slaughtered mortals just because he could. He would even attack other gods with no thought of consequence. Now, Typhon was not a fan of the gods of Olympus, and it was not long before he found himself locked in an intense war for the cosmos with none other than Zeus. Typhon was so powerful and so feared that most of the other gods and goddesses would immediately turn into their animal forms and flee whenever he came near. The battle between Typhon and Zeus raged relentlessly, and it was only after considerable struggle that Zeus was finally able to overcome and subdue Typhon with the help of Hermes and Pan. He dropped Mount Etna on top of Typhon to trap him, where it is said he remains to this day. Indeed, some claim that the volcanic eruptions from the mountain in the subsequent years were the result of the furious god Typhon raging. So, surely you could say Zeus won the battle and must be the more powerful of the two then? Perhaps. But before Zeus was rescued by Hermes and Pan, things were not looking very hopeful for the thunder god, and it could easily have gone the other way. If you want to find out more about Typhon, I've covered his story in a separate video that I will link in the description. Odin is a god most of you will be familiar with. The All-Father from Norse mythology, Odin is widely revered as one of the most powerful deities ever known, although perhaps with a twist. Whilst his physical prowess in combat was undoubtedly fierce, it is his wisdom and knowledge of the cosmos where the true root of his power lies. There are many stories of Odin and his willingness to sacrifice anything to obtain knowledge and wisdom. Famously, Odin has only one eye, the reason for this being that he gave up the other one as the price required to drink from the well of Erd, the source of infinite wisdom. Upon drinking from the well, he was consumed with visions of many things, past, present and future, and his wisdom grew to previously unimaginable levels. The visions eventually passed, and he found himself empowered, knowledge swelling inside him. Wasting no time, he plucked the eye from his socket, the searing pain doing nothing to give him pause, and tossed it into the well. He may have lost an eye, but in the end he saw more than he ever had before. In another tale, Odin, so consumed by the quest for knowledge, hung himself from a branch, pierced himself with a spear, and stayed there for 9 days and nights to prove his worthiness until eventually the runes of power revealed themselves to him. Equipped with the magic of these runes, he became even more powerful. He learnt chants that enabled him to heal emotional and bodily wounds, to bind his enemies and render their weapons worthless, to free himself from constraints, to put out fires, to expose and banish practitioners of malevolent magic, to protect his friends in battle, to wake the dead, to win and keep a lover, and to perform many other feats like these. Whilst you could argue that in a purely physical fight, his son Thor would be more deadly, there is no doubting that Odin's combination of strength, magic, and infinite wisdom making him one of the most powerful gods across all mythology. Odin is a great example of the power of knowledge, but luckily for us, we don't need to sacrifice an eye as he did in order to learn the secrets of the universe, as today's sponsor, Skillshare, has us covered. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes and members across 150 countries who come together to find inspiration and take the next step in their creative journey. Discovery and self-growth is a common theme throughout all mythologies, and Skillshare provides a great platform to help you level up your skills. A great example of this for me personally is a class I took called Productivity Habits That Stick. As a content creator who loves making videos but also has an intense full-time job, planning time effectively is a really important skill, and this class taught me some amazing techniques to help make my time more impactful. A gift from Kronos himself, perhaps. There are loads of different categories to explore, ranging from creative pursuits to academic developments that could boost your career, and even lessons in self-care to help you unwind and learn to take better care of yourself. There are new premium classes launched every week, and the entire catalogue is available with subtitles in Spanish, French, Portuguese and German. Now is an amazing time to channel your inner Odin and start your journey of discovery. By clicking the link in the video description, you'll be able to join Skillshare yourself, and even better, the first 1,000 people to join through my link will automatically get 1 free month of membership to explore this amazing platform. Don't miss out. From Egyptian mythology, Amun-ra is an example of the power possible when two mighty gods are fused together to create one all-encompassing deity. In the early days of Egyptian civilization, he was worshipped as two separate gods. Amun was the god responsible for creating the universe, whilst Ra was the god of the sun and light, who travelled across the sky every day in a burning boat. The two gods were combined into one in the time of the New Kingdom between the 16th and 11th centuries BC. It is thought that Amun created himself and then everything else in the universe, but distanced himself from it as the original, inscrutable and invisible creator. When Amun and Ra merged, he became both a visible and invisible deity, which appealed to the ancient Egyptians' concept of ma'at, or balance. He was hailed as the self-created one and the king of the gods, and played many roles such as war god, solar god, creator and fertility god. The Egyptologist Geraldine Pinch summarises it well. Unlike other important deities, Amun does not seem to have been thought of as living in some distant celestial realm. His presence was everywhere, unseen but felt like the wind. His oracles communicated the divine will to humanity. Amun was said to come swiftly to help Egyptian kings on the battlefield or to aid the poor and friendless. When he was manifest in his cult statues, Amun periodically visited the necropolis of Thebes to unite with its goddess, Hathor, and bring new life to the dead. Some scholars even believe Amun-ra was a direct inspiration for other king of the gods figures in different mythologies, such as Zeus. So, as the creator and ruler of pretty much everything in existence, including himself, Amun-ra was a pretty powerful guy. Lord Shiva, otherwise known as the Destroyer from the Hindu pantheon, is another very powerful god. As one of the three supreme gods, sitting alongside Brahma, the creator, and Vishnu, the preserver, Shiva plays many roles in Hinduism and represents many qualities. One of the most well-known responsibilities of Shiva is as the Destroyer. In Hinduism, the universe is thought to regenerate in cycles. At the end of each cycle, Shiva destroys the universe and everything in it, but not out of vindictiveness or evil, but to allow a rebirth and the creation of a new cycle to begin. He must destroy the universe in order for it to be recreated. Famous for his dancing, which symbolises truth and is meant to rid the world of ignorance and help to end the suffering of those who worship him. Sometimes referred to as the Lord of the Dance, it is said that the rhythm of his dance serves as a metaphor for the balance of the universe. Shiva is often shown with a cobra necklace that signifies his power over dangerous creatures. It is said that the cobra symbolises Shiva's power of destruction. He has a third eye, which represents his insight and wisdom. Some believe that the extra eye holds onto his untamed energy. There are 3 lines of ashes on Shiva's forehead. They are known as the Vibhuti and are meant to symbolise the immortality of Shiva and his manifested glory. Many tales exist of the power of Shiva, such as his taming of the mighty river Ganges, or the consuming of the venom from a mighty snake to save the world. These stories of Shiva, and the many more that exist, all speak to his power, as well as his complex character as a god that represents numerous themes and ideas. He is as much associated with goodness, benevolence and protection as he is with destruction, creation and time, and an undoubtedly powerful figure. The only thing more powerful than giving life is the power to take it away. And that's what Hades does. Sure, you could argue any of the classic big three from Greek mythology, Zeus, Poseidon or Hades, deserve a spot on this list. But for me, I'm going to go with the Lord of the Dead himself. This guy literally controls and oversees death itself. Don't forget, when he kidnapped Persephone and made her the queen of the underworld, not even the power of Zeus was enough to take her back up. Hades is lord of the underworld, ruler of an entire domain, and as his kingdom lies under the ground, everything in the ground also belongs to him. This includes all the precious gems and stones in the earth, which also makes him potentially the richest of all the gods. He strictly forbade his subjects to leave his domain, and would become quite enraged when anyone tried to escape, or if someone tried to steal the souls from his realm. His wrath was equally terrible for anyone who tried to cheat death or otherwise crossed him. Hades commands the loyalty of ferocious beasts, such as the giant three-headed Cerberus, who guards the entrance to the underworld. He also possesses the power to make himself invisible by wearing a magic cap or helm, an item that he frequently lends out in various well-known myths. Hades was so feared, in fact, that many Greeks believed if they simply spoke his name, the Lord of the Dead possessed enough power to bring them directly into his domain and claim their soul. I better not count the number of times I've said it in this video. 5 of the most powerful gods then, at least some of them, and in my opinion of course. As I said at the beginning, it's a question that doesn't have an answer, but it's a great excuse to share the stories of many different gods. This list is definitely not exhaustive, and I can't wait to read in the comments who you think should be included and why. That's if I haven't already been claimed by Hades, of course. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more great stories. Cheers.